Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 37 of Creative Writers and Illustrators. Author and illustrator Ashok Rajagopalan has come out with a series, a chapter book series centered around Gulgul. It's all the books are around space adventures. Let's find out more. Hello, Ashok.
Hello, Shyamala. Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Yeah, always a pleasure chatting with you. So let's start with the obvious question. What was the brief given to you by the editor?
The brief given, the editor is Sudeshna Shom Ghosh of Speaking Tiger, whose Talking Cub imprint, that's the children's book imprint. That's where so that's the publisher. So Sudeshna Shom Ghosh is the editor. And we had worked together earlier in Puffin, Penguin's children's imprint, and in Pratham books, for Pratham books. So she knows what I'm good at and probably what I'm bad at. So she said, "You're good with animals, humor." What else did she say? So she said, "Write a book for 8 to 10." Sorry, no, I got the age wrong. I think it's
8 to 12,
8 to 10.
right?
8 to 10 is right. With the word count of 7,000 words. So that is the brief. That's all. So then I came up with the different concepts, and a girl going on various space adventures in each book. She asked me to do a series of 3, actually. So I gave ideas for that, and she accepted. So that's how it happened. So that was a brief.
Okay. So let's talk about your main character, Gulgul. Now, while I was reading the story Gulgul in Papadam, I realized the word Gulgul stands for a sweet, okay? And it's actually Unniyappam, which Malayali.
Yeah, very similar. Yeah.
So, are you fond of the desert, or is that just a coincidence that Gulgul was named after the desert?
It was a coincidence. It was more like serendipity, that kind of a coincidence, very happy coincidence. When like they have Bablu for boys, no? A very popular nickname, at least in Hindi speaking families. Like that, I didn't know. I wanted to give a new name for this sweet and round girl. So I even Googled to check if anybody had taken the name. So I named a Gulgul thinking I was being original. And then later on, I found that it's quite a popular name for, at least a nickname for little girls. And Gulgul is a round sweet. It's a snack. So that is a serendipity thing about it. That my heroine is also a sweet round girl. So I used that after I realized that, after I came to know that it's a snack, I used that information in Gulgul in Papada. Because it's all about food.
Food, right. So what came first, the character or the world building of Gulgul's planet?
The character, Shamla. I knew world building meaning. I knew, I had in mind weird worlds, planets, and with strange animals. That I had in mind, but not specifically. Gulgul in Jungaloo was the first book I wrote, the blue one. So, but I created the character first, and I set her in the far future on a she lives on a planet called Green. It's actually GR33N, but from a distance it looks like green, so Gulgul calls it Green. That's how she names all the planets she goes to. They have numbers and alphanumeric kind of names for planets in the future.
So, I've read all the books that you've written so far, and I feel that you have literally gone berserk when it has come to creativity. Be it the names, be it the world building. I like the bottomless lake you created in Jangalu. I like the tiny creatures that you created. You know, the funny names you've given for the fruits. You have nanabas and yayapas. You know, there's a lot of wordplay which has come into existence. You know, so I mean, so far you created humor through your illustrations, but through wordplay, I thought you have just taken your creativity to a totally different level. So you had fun writing these books, I guess.
Of course I did. This wordplay, you know, when for very little kids, like when I write a Gajapati Kulapati story or any other picture book for very little ones, they don't get puns and they get sounds and onomatopoeic words and noises and all that, and slapstick humor, people falling, things falling, pajak on your head and all that. That they get. They don't get puns. As a kid grows older, he or she collects these puns. You know, I'm a young teen at heart, so I believe I'm good at puns, and I still collect them. So for kids like me, I write stories like this. Gajapati Kulapati didn't allow me that scope, but in Gulgul I have that. They're older kids. I think they love wordplay.
Yeah, there's also the word count, because you have so many words you can play with. You know, since with an increased word count, you can express the story in so many different ways. Use a lot of fun wherever it is.
Yes.
Because the story is set in space, did you have to research a lot about gravity and how, you know, things can move, and you know, the other stuff which comes with the space territory?
Yeah. I didn't do much research while writing, but I was always interested. I'm an avid reader of science fiction. Isaac Asimov, Arthur C. Clarke, Boyle. You know, more proper science fiction, not like Gulgul. Gulgul is space fantasy. It's not actual. It's not science fiction. Just set in space.
Yes.
But so I'm full of that. I'm a fan of science fiction, so I didn't have to research, but there are some things I checked out while writing. For example, I used to think stars twinkle because of the distance from the viewer, I mean from us to the stars, and the atmosphere. You know, our atmosphere, because it's thick and thin in places, the dust and all that. So when it comes and goes, the stars flicker and appear to twinkle. I thought that's why stars appear to twinkle. So outer space, they don't twinkle. I used to think. So that I researched. They twinkle there also, because dust and planets and so many things come in and go in between. So they twinkle even in outer space. For that, I even rewrote. In my first draft, I didn't know that. Then I researched these bits. And then bits like what happens if you drill a hole through the earth and you jump in, or you drop something in. You don't emerge at the other end. You know, this gravity will take you down, depending on your weight and momentum of the body which is going. It will go past the center. It will go. Suppose you can do this. I mean, it's almost impossible to do. Then it will come back. Then it will keep bobbing up and down. So this I used in two books. For Gulgul in Jangalu, there's a bottomless pond. I mean, it's a pond on both ends of the planet. It's like a cylindrical pond in the center of the planet. So their spaceship gets lost there. For that, and what happens? The spaceship will go finally land down. I mean, in the center of the planet. And then in Papadam, it's a flat Papadam like artificial satellite, planet. So there also I have a lift going from one side of the planet to the other. So what will happen? Will they float? Will they when they go in the lift to the other side? So I did minor research while writing the book. To answer your question in brief, I'm sorry I rambled.
That's fine. So you've stressed on the need for conservation of resources in Jangalu, and the importance of solar power comes in another book. Gulgul's mother is an innovator, and
Oh,
she
sorry.
kind of,
Mm.
has this fascination for creating new gadgets. And so there's a lot of emphasis that you have given on using what nature gives us freely, and
Yes,
conservation. So is that your personal philosophy kind of seeping through? Of course, that is the need of the hour, because the
yes,
energy crisis is looming.
yes. And luckily, we are kind of shifting directions. There's more alternate energy. I think in about 10 years, we would have moved to
Hmm.
electric vehicles, and I think every apartment here will have something for conserving water or rainwater harvesting. I mean, to collect water, and solar panels could be even compulsory. I hope the government makes it compulsory, by the way.
Hmm.
Yes, I believe that it is a philosophy, but I don't know if it's a practical policy like in Jangalu, where you are not allowed to another book shop. Uh, you're not allowed to mine for metal or cut trees down.
Hmm.
You can collect branches and leaves which have already fallen. You're not supposed to damage anything. So, and yet they still find a way to send them back home, to
Yeah, yeah,
in spite of not having these facilities.
right.
And you're not allowed to ride animals. Like, we had beasts of burden even when I was a kid. I don't know if I think we still have horse rides and elephant rides. And I think laws will come and even that will go after some time.
Slowly phase
So
out.
in Jangalu, I mean, not in Jangalu, in Gulgul's home planet,
Hmm.
the law is that you can't have pets, you
Yeah,
can't ride on animals.
yeah. So they all end up having robo pets, and of course, there is a story you've
Yeah, you can have
created
robo pets.
around around the pet. So I like the concept that the hope with which you have created, uh, of using starlight as a source of power
Ah,
in Apapara. Do you think that's possible
yeah.
in future? I like the
Just
possibility. It's like nothing is
uh, uh,
impossible when we look for solutions.
yeah, and this is what with artificial intelligence and all. This is one age of almost science fiction. I mean, what we
Uh,
read in science fiction is happening.
uh,
Solar panels.
right.
They're called solar panels because they depend on the sun.
Hmm.
And they are all these geniuses and inventors and scientists and all these people are working at making them smaller and more powerful.
Hmm.
The solar batteries. So, and I think, and for example, cameras. When they first had cameras, you needed to have bright light, and now your phone and they have these cameras which can take pictures in starlight. So, technology, if it improves, I mean, most things I see as a graph. If they can go from here to here, I project the graph a little further. So, I think it is possible that light from star can be used for energy.
Hmm. So you also attempted songwriting in Gulgul in Saregama, which was like a total surprise. Again, research, or is this just a childhood wish come true? To be a music composer or a singer.
No, no. I don't have much of an ear for music, though I enjoy music like everyone. Um, but I in a book published by Tulika Publishers, Ha Ha Hasya,
Hmm.
I had Narada there. He always speaks in rhyme. So here, since Gulgul in Sarigama is about music, so what's music without lyrics? So especially in a book, I mean, if it's a movie or a video, you don't need. You can just have instrumental music. So it's a book. So I wanted to have lyrics. So that's why I wrote those lyrics. I'm good at writing lyrics. I'm only not good at singing them. Don't ask me to sing. You can ask me to write.
So what about the women characters you have created in Gulgul's life, right? Be it Mahali, who comes out as a strong leader, her mother, who's an innovator, right? So the characters you have created are like pretty,
Strong women.
yes.
I mean, women means strong females.
Yes.
Some of them are
Yes.
animals. Yeah, I want to see more of them in literature. So that's why. But I think it's generally happening now all around movies and things. And also for my little readers, boys and girls, when they read, boys will understand that, and girls also will understand that. And for actually here the mother is a genius inventor and engineer, not the father.
Yeah.
And in they have different roles. They have turns to cook. In Papadam, the father will cook on certain days, and the mother. But the mother very cleverly invents the kitchi cook, which
Yes.
can cook.
That's like the dream machine for every household. So
You'll soon have it,
there.
Shamala. Mark my words. In about a year or two, one more book. You'll have something like the kitchi cook, because 3D printing is there. So if you cook something really well, you don't send me the recipe, you send me the file. And I have a machine in which I have to put in the ingredients, and the AI there will cook the dish. So it needs a good cook somewhere, but then I think the AI will learn even that. That will happen. Now you have these. It's pretty common, no? The what is that called? Roombas, the floor cleaning robots.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah. So that's common. We didn't imagine that in our, I think, 5 years or 6 years or 10 years ago. We didn't think they would be there. So this kitchi cook will happen. Actually, my Gulgul is not much in the far future. I think we'll see all these things. So I have a TV wall, which is not a new concept. It's there in movies like Total Recall. So there they have a wall. The whole thing is a TV. I think we'll see that also in 2 or 3 years here.
Yes, yeah.
We have it in stores in the malls. I have one nearby mall. So anyway, they have seen yours are.
Yeah, that is why I had to place them here.
Mine are fictional books. In the mall, you have these TV walls, except they are segregated into all little screens. But I think you'll have these big TV walls. I think they have. I've seen them in TV channels, and unless they're using the blue screen. But that will also happen. Gulgul is not too far into the future.
Right. So which of these characters did you enjoy writing? What about
Gulgul?
The plots? Yeah, Gulgul, yes. Because she seems to be jumping into all the adventures without much of thinking.
Yes, yes. Gulgul is autobiographical. If I were a girl, I would be a girl like that.
Okay.
But I was a very thin child. I wanted to be a fat child. So probably that aspiration, I made her a sweet brown girl. So, sorry, what did you ask? Apart from the characters?
Which character did you enjoy creating the most? Which one gave you a challenge?
Challenge.
Any particular plot you had problem with?
Yeah, with Sarigama, because of all the music in it. And it went back and forth. The editor, she's a great editor. So she'll actually suggest what to do when you expand this scene, make this better. Don't have it so lame. She'll say all that. So that book took a long time, because I was so much lost in the music theme and other thing that the story wasn't thrilling enough, or it didn't have much of an adventure in it. So that was a remedy later with the editor's help. So the last book, Gulgul in Sarigama, was a major challenge. The challenge was not in writing the lyrics. Actually, it was in the plot.
So, in Apapgara.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you Apapara, sorry, Apapara. Apapara, you
Apapgara.
have focused the need to solve problems through dialogue and not violence.
Yes, yes, yes. Violence was already happening in a fashion there.
Yeah.
So Gulgul solves that problem. I mean, with creative solutions and dialogue.
Yes,
So
creative.
this is how you solve the
Absolutely.
problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I think that was a wonderful message you've given.
Yeah, I'm a
That's the
pacifist.
need of the art.
Yeah, basically, I'm a pacifist.
Hmm.
So I think that showed that. I don't have any messages, but sometimes it leaks, seeps through.
Yeah, because I
I
think
think you can't help it. Yeah.
yeah, true. Because we've been so many years on this planet, you know, what we write is a kind of
Yeah. Yeah,
mixed
we can't help.
thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you started creating, did you, this entire series, did you kind of, you know, did the images come first or did the plot come first? Because you are an author and an illustrator, right? And both cannot be at the same level at the same time, right? Some part will overpower the other.
Okay.
So the story comes first.
Usually, whether it's me or somebody else, the story is written first. The pictures are not run first. The story is written first, and it goes to the illustrator after the editorial work is done for doing the illustrations. So here also, I wrote the story first and then did the illustration. But your question was in my mind. I'm happy to see your books dropping.
No, because I took
but I don't know how it is with other writers. So I wrote it first. As a writer, for me, I see all my stories as movies in my head first. Moving
images,
pictures.
okay.
And a major scene in each. For the Gajapati Kulapati, it's, for example, it was this big elephant jumping into a small pond and Kalabaloosh. No? So around that, I built the story. So even here, there'll be one image or something I would imagine, one character. And then it comes like a movie. And then I translate that movie into words. Illustrations, finally, I treat it like a book written by somebody else, and I have to draw pictures.
I asked you
and
this
I curse
question.
the writer for giving me difficult things to draw.
But
Sorry,
you have the liberty. You have the liberty to play
no,
with
I can't. After Sudeshna's approved the text, I'm not at liberty to go and change that. So I curse the writer myself, and then I draw. Then it's a challenge. So, for example, I can't draw proper bicycles for nuts. I can't. That's a secret.
Open secret now.
No, it is.
So I asked you this question, you know, what overpowers because of the step zonic that you created in Gulgul in Saregama. Because for me, I think I thought that the whole story kind of revolved around the step zonic in the beginning.
Pun intended.
But then, of course, you realize that it's you know that's not the case. Let's not give any more any spoil for the reader.
No problem. So, what were you asking?
No, I was just telling why I asked you this question about you know which avatar overtakes because of the step zone. Because I thought that creation came first as an illustrator and then the story.
For this concept, the 7 notes came first. You asked me about research. I did further more research for Sarigama. Actually, not science fiction, about music. Like, the 7 notes I had forgotten. I used to know. Sa is each one represents the sound. So Sa represents the sound of the peacock's call. So I use that here. I think it's not directly said, but I think a kid or a parent will catch that layer, later on. So all these animals are actually true to ancient Indian music tradition. Each one represents, except a horse, I made it a unicorn. So small liberties I take.
So you've also done something with bits of paper in this book, right?
Yeah, didn't you? I didn't know before. Only when I began writing this book, bits of paper, bits. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Then what's the other third one? There are many like that. Or rain.
Is that
Pitter
the
patter raindrops,
that
pitter patter
chakalaka
raindrops. So
chakalaka
all these have the same tune.
tune?
Many of our nursery rhymes have the same tune. So I use that here.
Everything, yeah.
So kids also, it will be back of the mind, or some kid would have realized it themselves. They'll all have a either aha moment or I knew it moment. So that's they'll be happy.
Yeah. There's the banana song. There's the chakalaka chakalaka song. I think kids are going to have fun reading all of this and
I
singing.
hope they do. I hope they do. I hope they laugh. So that is my main aim in life.
So because there's humor in every book, be it the wordplay, be it the dialogues, and be it the illustration, it kinds of brings the humor.
You laughed, Shamala? That's
yes, I did.
Aim.
I did. My my favorite is the first book, the blue one. Gulgul.
Jungle. Okay.
And I thought this Gulgul and Pappadam also is because it had the Kichi cook and I could kind of relate to it. I enjoyed a lot of scenarios which are possible for the characters. So, I mean, it was fun reading all these books, and I hope you
It was the editor's idea. Yeah. It was Sudeshna's idea to have these activities at the back of the book for the last 3 books of the series. We didn't think of this in the first 3 books. When she asked me to write the second 3 of the books 4, 5, and 6. Yeah. So for Papadam, you have a recipe thing in the back, how to make a faluda.
You have 2, 3 recipes, I think. And Appapara has a dog.
It has how to draw a simple cat and a simple dog.
So I think you set the pace, everything is ready for the summer vacation. So all they need to do is get these 6 books and have fun.
Thank you, Shamala.
So before you go, tell us, there's something cooking around Gajapati Kulapati. So what's happening? It's an open secret, so we can talk, right?
Lava Media, who are the producers of the White Tiger, they have been nominated for so many international awards. So they have acquired the rights for Gajapati Kulapati property, and most probably it will be an animated series, animated web series.
So all the best.
It will take some time for them to produce it.
I hope Gajapati Gulapati reaches international level, and expands to many different territories, and the book and the TV series as well. And I'm also hoping Gulgul has a fantastic run in the present and future as well.
Thank you, Shama.
Thank you so much, Ashok. Thank you.
Thank you.